Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Tuesday's edition of Premarket Info.
Well, they came back from their long Labor Day weekend and started buying them, and we are up 13 handles right now, 1644 and a quarter. Been as high as 1649. September rally here, Joel.
Right, yeah, the end of the month buying there seems to be rewarded. We have cleared a major level here in the pre-market. The highs from Thursday and Friday, 44.75 and 45, traded up to 49. But if we're going to continue here, we just got to hold that 1645 in the first 15 minutes. And remember we were talking about seasonality in trading and trends and stuff, and we're coming up on the Jewish holiday Rosh Hashanah, and remember, sell Rosh Hashanah and buy Yom Kippur.
Well, I'll tell you, the end of the month turn worked pretty well because we saw a rally here coming in the last couple of days of the month, and that rally is continuing here today. Obviously, trading up 13 handles, a couple mergers, no war or no war yet there over in Syria. So I think the market, little relief rally here. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen in Syria long term, but short term, we have no war going on yet, so the market's kind of excited. Do want to talk about one market structural issue before we get into all the mergers and everything. Bring up Procter and Gamble because you'll see on the chart there you're looking at that low from Friday of 73.61. That is not a bad tick. That really actually did happen. That was a flash crash in Procter and Gamble. Stock was trading around 77.60 when some market participant came in to sell a big amount of stock on, and they routed this order just to the NYSE primary exchange. So basically, orders on the other exchanges were traded through, and anybody bidding on the NYSE exchange actually got rewarded, obviously, and bought the stock down there. Interesting enough, that went right down 73.61, close to the limit down circuit breaker, which was down 5%.
Right, and just as quickly as it went down, it rebounded right
One
back
second.
up.
1 second. It was down there for
One
1 second.
second.
Yeah,
Yeah, did you?
actually, it never even really like it went down there just on the NYSE. The other exchanges never even went down there on the other exchanges. So you have 13 public exchanges only traded down on the NYSE primary exchange. So basically, anybody that bought it on the NYSE could immediately sell it on another exchange up at 77 and a half. So I know there was one participant. I was looking at one order, 65,000 shares trade at 75.10. That guy probably could get out. He would have had to work the order a little bit, but obviously was trading right back up at 77 and a half. So he looks like he made about 150 grand just from that one order.
Yeah, I saw your tweet there, covered up, picked up by Market Watch on that. But this goes to show you that sometimes putting those good to cancel orders out there at those ridiculous prices sometimes can bode well when you have a market structure snafu like you had on Friday.
And we have had a market structure change on the NYSE too. They've always had these their own circuit breakers, these LRPs, liquidity replenishment points, where basically it was the NYSE's own circuit breaker, but now the SEC wanted them to go to these universal circuit breakers of limit up, limit down. Well, the Procter and Gamble NYSE circuit breaker was only $1 down on the LRPs, but it's 5% down on the limit up, limit down. So if they had their own circuit breaker, the stock probably wouldn't traded lower than 76.60. But because the SEC made them basically get rid of these LRPs and they went to this limit up, limit down, now the stocks can crash basically 5%, at least on Procter and Gamble. Some are as high as 10% before they hit a circuit breaker. So obviously the participant that sold that stock obviously didn't know what they're doing because there was liquidity on the other exchanges. Plus, I don't know who sends orders that big, to get them done immediately. So it's better to work the orders.
Yeah, that's some of the other exchanges that I looked at on the charts didn't even pick it up, but it rebounded, closed just off the high of the day, 78.07. We're above that, so quite a rebound here in Procter Gamble. Really, you don't have really any major resistance in the stock. Probably psychological $79 level.
Let's get to a few of these mergers here. Obviously, well, we'll first start with Vodafone Verizon. Verizon is now buying Vodafone's 45% stake in Verizon Wireless for $130 billion in cash and stock. It's probably a little bit seems expensive to me. This was obviously rumored last week, and interesting enough, Verizon popped up. Remember in the
Yeah,
pre-market there, to 50.20, they were construing it as good news. And obviously, came in a little bit higher than maybe what they liked, and the stock actually trading down here now. So it's interesting. When this was rumored, it traded up to 50.20. Now that comes to fruition, it's trading down to 45.80.
Well, because the algos don't know what they're doing, right?
Algos
You
don't
know?
know. Well, I mean, I got to give you some props on that too, Joel. You were looking that thing up at $50, and you're like, doesn't this seem like a ridiculous move for this thing? A thick stock like this, Verizon, and you thought that they were going to come in and start selling it. Obviously, they did even in the pre-market because the stock never opened even at 9:30. It opened up at 48.62 only, which was basically the high, and it basically gave back all the gains in the next 2 days. And now actually breaking down and trading to a new low on the move with this announcement of the purchase of Verizon Wireless.
Right. Let's take a look at the pre-market trading and the after-hours trading on this. Maybe we got a little overdone on the downside too. Got to 44.82. We've popped a buck up since then. So I think my contrarian ways are going to stick with me again today. And if they overdid it on the upside, maybe they're overdoing it on the downside here. And I think that 44.82 is going to hold up in today's trading. Perhaps even if you get a dip near 45, nice round number like that, you might see some buyers appear. But if you look longer term, Verizon has not been down at this level quite a while here. So we'll see if we get some buyers to come in and take advantage of this move.
We do have another acquisition, or at least a purchase too. Microsoft is buying Nokia's device and services business for 5.44 billion euros in cash. So obviously Nokia is getting a good pop off of this. But let's start with Microsoft here because they are selling Microsoft off on this news. Almost 3 million shares have traded here this morning. It's down $1.65 from the 4 o'clock close on Friday. 33.40 is where it went out. It's trading at 31.75 here, Joel. Ugly day for Microsoft longs, but I know you're going to point out this one level here. I'm looking at 31.68.
Oh yeah, you did. Well, you had multiple lows around the 31.50 level.
Yeah.
You had a 31.54 low on August 21st. So that's going to be an area, and then another double bomb in 31.37, 31.38. So I would just call that whole 31.50 level be a major support. Also, you hit that 31.68 low here. You're getting some kind of a bounce, but not a huge bounce. But once again, 5% move here for Microsoft. Not sure what they're doing messing with Nokia here, but investors are not liking it off the hop.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too much premium they're worrying they're paying, and obviously Nokia's got a lot of employees there too in this part of that business, so I don't know what happens there.
Click on.
Let's just look here at some of the other telecoms here too. I know some of these Canadian ones let's go to because Verizon actually did say that they intend to stay out of Canada, and I know the telecommunication companies in Canada have been very worried about Verizon breaking in and obviously eating some of their lunch. So there's three main ones in Canada, which is Rogers, RCI, TELUS, TU, and you've got the BCE chart up there, which is Bell. BCE is actually trading up $1.50 here this morning on this news of Verizon is going to stay out of the market. And this is a stock that has found nice support down at 40, kind of put in a double bottom and was starting to look actually pretty good technically even on Friday, starting to try to break out. Now obviously it's completely breaking out here over that 42 resistance area.
Not a lot of volume associated with this pop-up here, so look for follow-through off the open, 42.52 high. Looking at this longer term, lot of gap to fill in this stock, but 42.50 was a major level. 42.56 was your high on July 16th. That's currently where we're trading at now. So if you don't get some strong follow-through here to this 42.50, 42.60 level, this could just flop right back down. Has a ways to go to get back into yesterday's range, and if we ever do get back to 41.5 here, the old double top there should provide some support.
I think this move might follow through here, though. I don't think you're going
Okay.
to see a lot of these gains going back for two reasons. One, we can't look at the volume really in the pre-market on these stocks because Toronto does not have a pre-market. There's no trading in Toronto until 9:30. So right now, basically, if you're trading this in the U.S., you're kind of just guessing. So, and a lot of people, obviously, pre-market participants don't like to guess. So there's always going to be probably very little volume when you have, the primary market isn't trading yet. Secondly, is Verizon is one of your obviously your major company in the wireless sector. So if they were to come into the market, this would have really hurt. And I know they had been rumored. This is why you saw this sell off in BC. You saw this sell off in Rogers, which is RCI, and you've seen the sell off in TELUS as well, which is TU. So I think this really eases some concerns. I know there was an analyst, I forget where it was, saying over the weekend though, but he thought all three of these stocks should pop a couple of bucks on this news, and he seems to be right because in the pre-market here, TELUS, if you look at that one, or you got RCI up there right now, and it is bid up. It just traded 41.16, which is up a buck and a half, and it's bid up at 40.86. So it looks like that $2 move he might be right on that.
Okay, 41.17 was the high on August 16th in Rogers Communications, and then the previous day you had a high at 81.48. So in order to get the follow through there, you are opening up into some resistance here in Rogers. And then what was the other one?
TU, TELUS, yeah, there's three big
TELUS.
ones. TU.
Okay, that stock had been finding resistance at 32, getting a pop here above that 32.50. This one, a 32 handle kind of scares me a little bit. You only had one stopping point at 32.69, and then you traded over the $33 level. So this one on the pre-market charts looks like it has a little bit more room to run, in my opinion.
Let's while we're talking about the Canadian stocks, let's talk about Blackberry just quickly here. BBRY. This whole $10 area has been providing pretty good support. I know we cut through it 3 days ago, but really it's had one, two, three, four, about five lows in the last 7 sessions, just above $10. It is getting a little bit of a lift here in the pre-market, trading up at 10.27. Obviously, a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, we popped and we got the ridiculous move above 12 on rumors that somebody might be playing around to buy them. I wonder though now that Microsoft has went and bought Nokia here, is BlackBerry kind of left out in the dust here?
Yeah, they're not the people that bought it up to 10.58 here at around 7
Ooh,
o'clock this morning.
wow.
So it got a little bit excited there. I expected to see Black, especially with rumors of them putting themselves up for sale. Then a sale occurring in the a
Nokia.
transition in the market. You think you'd see a little bit more. Uh, Keep an eye on $11. You did get that pop over 12 on the 13th, but since then resistance has really settled in at the 10.90 to $11 level. So that'll be a major resistance in BlackBerry.
Let's move into some of these top S&P components, starting with Apple here. Apple 500 level has now formed start to be resistance here. We got up on Thursday to 495, kind of peeled, or 496.50. We kind of peeled back on Friday. We're popping a little bit here. ABG, Sundal, Collier, this is an analyst that I do not follow. They are downgrading it to sell. Obviously, nobody's listening here because Apple is trading up $4, so I don't think they have a lot of influence here. But they're downgrading it to sell, so I guess, they're looking at this whole 500 level as resistance here now, which it probably is. I think, the stock's had 3-4 closes now below 500, kind of hanging out near the lows. What do you think of this Apple chart?
Noah's agreeing with you on that psychological resistance at 500. It's hard to, if this thing goes into rally mode, it's much harder to pick a top in this. 95.80 and 96.50 were the highs from Wednesday and Thursday. But what I would be keeping an eye on, a more important technical number, is on the downside. Your 486 level, 3 out of the last 4 lows were between 486, 486 and a half. You have to respect that support. As long as it holds that level, I think you could easily take out the $500 level below 486, and we could get down to, and I'm making up a term here, pre-icon announcement low, which was at 468. But speaking of its brethren here, been looking at this Google chart here, licking my chops to buy the 800 puts. thought Friday might be the day. Look at this support developing here, Dennis. We are getting a 5 point bounce here in the pre-market up 545. You see the 846.90. You had the low
Yep.
there. Okay, that chart. Okay, you got support there, like four lows.
Yeah.
Go to the weekly here,
I
Dennis.
know it's right
Do you want
there.
to be long? Do you want to be long this stock under 845 or so? Look at that. Look at
Yeah.
that potential vacuum area.
Yeah, as long as that area's got a hold, we'll give it a point or two. You always got to give it a little bit with $800 stock, but I'd say it starts cutting through 845, and it ran up from 800 to 845 in 5 or 6 trading sessions in May. And we always say what goes up quickly can go down quickly. So if this stock starts to trade down below 845, 840, could be at 805, 810 in a heartbeat. So that is a concern, obviously. But support is support until it's broken. And somebody is defending that level because 4 days in a row it's tried to break through that level and it keeps bouncing off of there. So support is support until it's broken.
Right, and for a volatile stock like that, to have 3, 4 lows within a couple buck area gives you a good reference point here. Getting the 5 point pop off the open, I'd be interesting. I think this is one of the stocks that I'll be keeping an eye on here, especially if the SPOOs can't get above 645. Had a pre-market high of 853.77, so I'll be looking at that level as long as that 1645 area. And if not, you could just slip right back down under 850.
Let's look at a couple stocks that are potentially breaking out here. Facebook and Netflix. Facebook made a new high, 42.26 on the move on Friday. Pulled back, closed kind of weak, but is popping here again, up 58 cents of 41.88. That whole 42 area still looming a little bit. And remember, we couldn't determine what was the high. Some people were saying it was 42. Some people were saying it was 45 from all the NASDAQ fiasco there when the thing went IPO. But regardless, this 42 level is providing a little bit of resistance here, and we are opening up into that area. What do you think's on for Facebook here today?
A couple tops in the pre-market above the $42 level. Friday's high 42.26. So that's the de facto all-time high since we believe the prints were canceled from 42 or 45. Even though I know some people that did get some confirms there in the 43s and 44s, but still keep an eye on this 42.26 here. 42.10 was the pre-market high. And then you also mentioned Netflix. Geez, the stock that won't stop, huh?
Yeah, 2-3 tops right around this whole 290 area. We got up there to 289.94 on the 26th. On Thursday, we got up to 290.23, making a new high, and then 288.83. Then we closed kind of weak at 283.91. We had that late day soft, but now we are popping here again on Netflix, up at 287.60. So it's the third time up here, but it's still this 290 area is starting to struggle here a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's starting to struggle because all these people that bought this thing at 290 and 300 and 304.79.
Yeah,
I
when it was
believe
up
that's
there the
where I
first
got
time.
bull. Yeah, where I got bullish in July of 2011. But boy, I tell you, this is just one move that just continues to astound me to see a stock fall off, that
I
hard. And
know.
usually, I mean, take GE, take a stock that's went from 55 to 5 and it's trying to come back. And then this thing, just in this year alone, starting out under $100. Don't you just think at this point that they might as well go up and trade 300?
Yeah, well, you wonder if 300 becomes a magnet here. I'm not sure, but all I know is this has been an incredible move. Things basically tripled here this year, so it's been a big move. Icon, you got to give him props. He was involved in this one too, buying it down there near the lows in July and August there, around 50, 55. And obviously, if he's still sitting on stock here, he's doing really well in this one. Netflix has been one of your top performers this year. I think the 300 whole area, the 290s, like you said, some people bought it up here originally. So if there are break evens up here, you do run into some struggles there. So I think this whole 290 still provides some resistance.
Yep, 290.23 was your high on Thursday, and then last Monday, seems like a year ago, 289.94 was the high. So a couple bucks away from major resistance.
While we're talking, we'll do some momentum stocks. Might as well bring up Tesla, TSLA. It's trading up another $4.75 here again. Actually is trying to break out to a new 52-week high here. I think it did in the pre-market. The old 52-week high during the intraday, 173 on the 26th. We're trading 173.5, and we've been as high as 174.88 today. So Tesla bulls just keep getting rewarded.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably the worst analysis of this chart would come from me here. 173 was the former all-time high. Use that as minor support. The other parameter on the upside, 174.88, which was your pre-market high.
Let's take a look just quickly at gold here before we go to the overall market, because gold is trading flat right now, actually. A lot of your miners here trading just slightly up in the green as well. But interesting chart on the gold. What is that? What was that double bottom that we're looking at there,
Yeah,
Joel?
well, that double bottom is what we're trying to put in right now. If it holds today, excuse me, we at GC here, I got a longer term chart. They're giving me a bad tick on the low. The low that I'm seeing so far in today is 1373.60, but that I'm not sure where they're getting that level from. Friday's low 1391.80. We are holding just above that level. That's your support. Losing a little bit of a luster here. It was looked at as as a safety haven if war broke out. So
Yeah.
it's pulling back. Flirted with the 1400 for a couple days. So I'd have to say unless you get a war or get back above 1400, gold may migrate back down to the 1350 level.
Markets trading 1646 and a quarter. We're about 3 points off the high of the day here. Do you think this rally can hold here, Joel, or are they going to get nervous and take some profits?
I think with the big move that you had overnight, follow through the 1649 level is very, very important. Above there, you have the 4-day high at 1655.50. But as long as we hold 1645, my bets are it's still on a rally. If we pull back here, if you pull back, at least 5-6 points, to 1642 or so, I call that minor support. But real no major support until you get back to the overnight low of 1639.
Well, that's our show for today, guys. Have a great trading session. Back at you tomorrow morning.